Hi, this is Carol Mixon from SkillCheck. Today I'm going to be talking about problem solving and how to be a problem solver. That's a trickier part, right? One of the things that I know, self-storage owners need to do certain things to be good at their jobs too. And I'm going to bring in the owner, area managers, and managers. So it's everyone alike. I think what's interesting about this job is that you really do need to train your employees to do their job well. You need to inspect what you're expecting, which means, for example, doing some physical inventories at the property, auditing, having mystery shops done, looking at your social media reviews and complaints from customers, and being able to give managers the ability to manage. And it is so important. Managers can't just feel like they can never make a decision. They really do need to have some authority, and you need to let them know what that authority is. And it's also important to remember to get input from the managers about how to solve a problem because they may have thought of something but they don't want to tell you yet. And sometimes, really, truly, sometimes it's as easy as waiving a late fee or doing something, or letting them out 2 days early without, doing a prorate or something like that. So think about those things. Let the managers manage so you don't get a bad review or you don't have an upset customer. So one of the things to remember is to remain objective. Often problems occur because people are kind of unaware of what's happening with the process itself, and they get focused on a particular method or goal, or they unintentionally ignore that they may be various warning signs also of something going wrong. But great problem solvers really approach each issue or new problem as it was brand new. So, and sometimes you think to yourself, oh boy, here's another person trying to live out of space. Well, you may have a process, but try to go down and resolve it first with the customer. Those are things that you can do to really help. And even with you think, oh, these managers, I've told them and told them and told them, walk back in the office and try it a different way, explaining it different or asking them questions. How do you feel about, calling late people? And how do you feel about answering the phone? Oh, you don't like the phone? Yeah, that could be a problem, right? So there are some things that we need to, maybe re-look at how we're going at something. And the way that they can apply a specific solution to a problem instead of fix that may go only part way. Sometimes you think, okay, that's going to be perfectly fine to do that. And then it's not you didn't go far enough. And sometimes for me, that has been when I've said, okay, let them go ahead and stay in the space, but only during, such and such hours. And they still do stupid stuff at the store and other customers get mad. So then we have to finally get them out anyway. So don't you love this business? Also remember to identify opportunities because when there are problems, and I think especially with great problem solvers, it also gives you great opportunity. When sometimes when I thought, oh wow, how could this have happened? And this especially early in my career when people started stealing and where we realized that people were stealing. uh, Many times those great opportunities are wrapped up inside some simple problems. And there were a variety of different problems, and sometimes problem with the employee that some employee had. Sometimes it was we made things too easy for them to take money. But remember, the problem at hand may be symptomatic of a bigger problem that you may have, or systems, or perhaps in our industry. For sure, I know that when I take over projects, storage projects, I look for things that aren't right and things that I know that are gaps in training, gaps in identifying what if the customer is enjoying what's happening within the store. So those are the type of things that we look for. But you want to assess the external factors and consider a future that doesn't really require those choke points. If you have problems, try to resolve those. So you also may discover an exciting new business model too. There are times where we thought, and this was the first time we got trucks, we were like, wow, people just are having a heck of a time finding trucks, and what are we going to do about that? And then we came along to On the Move, and that was so awesome because they provided a solution for our problem, getting customers to the store. And right now, with COVID, people are having a hard time finding storage. Storage for RVs or cars. There's all kinds of issues that they're having because of the moving and the amount of whatever's happening, which is very strange going on right now. But it's been certainly good for the self-storage industry. but we want to be problem solvers, even in times like this. You want to also think about listing your obstacles, because when you know what they are, then you may think at first it's like, oh, that rarely ever happens. That's isolated. Certain fixes can trigger unwanted kind of chain of reactions in the processes or departments. If you have an accounting department, they said, oh, we have this new rule that the managers can't do this and can't do that, and then the managers get out the feeling like, well, that's not realistic. So you kind of need to work it through everyone to determine, like, okay, is this going to work? If we do this at the store, how's that going to work? Oh yeah, that's not going to work. Let's try something different. But great problem solvers really take a high level view of the issues that are there and involved, and jot down a list of the potential factors that could really help with a solution, right? Then they can approach the issue in a comprehensive manner with a higher degree of success too, which is really positive. You know what? One of the things that I know, and I'm sure I have an ego because I think I know a lot about self-storage, but partly because I like it so much. It's not just because, I've done this for a long time and I do learn things all the time. I swear every time I go to a trade show or see someone come up with a new idea, I'm like, that is awesome. Why didn't I think of that? That is really awesome. And the things that are just entire storage community are doing. It's amazing to see how well people are doing in self-storage and the neat ideas they have. But you want to think of these solutions to problems, and don't ignore them, because a leader really does look for a solution. And when I have managers, I love the managers when I walk in and they say, hey, we have this problem, but we thought, we'd like to do this. What is that? Okay. And I'm thinking, whew, at least I didn't have to think of that. And that was awesome. I wouldn't have thought of that. And that's great. Great job. But you remember, great problem solvers, they get joy from solving the problem, right? If you are a good problem solver, just having kids, I think mothers seem to have lots of problem solving tactics too, because it just seems like there's always something going wrong. But they are also happy to give the credit to anyone who resolves the issue and moves everyone forward. It's really not about the person who comes up with the idea, but it's the idea that we have a solution and let's all use it and get together and talk about it and make it work, especially companies that are getting larger and larger. There are things that go wrong and we want to know how to fix those. And that's the way to do it, is to get lots of people involved, because if you don't ask each side, and if you don't go to the counting, you don't go to the area manager and the managers and the assistant managers, then you're not really getting an entire look at something. You also want to remember that there's no concern about getting credit, because the business, there is no shortage of new problems, right? We always have some kind of problem to solve. But, if you can put your ego aside, it might be good for you. I like this little anchor man here because he's always, touting himself, right? The big deal. So I want you to, if you have any ideas for webinars that you'd like to hear, please let me know, and please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe, because I'm still I'm nowhere near getting to where my son is on his subscription. So if you can, also if you want to get a hold of me, you can, it's Carol@skillcheck.com, or you can call me on our 1-800 number, or go to skillcheck.com and find us. So thank you so much for listening, and see you soon. Happy renting.